So I'm going to talk to you today about Roman pottery in Cornwall. I work in the southwest and I've recorded a good few Roman pottery assemblages from Cornwall in recent years, and also occasionally see Cornish material which has made it into Devon. Once you get into Cornwall, the largest part of most assemblages is made up of pottery and gabbroic fabrics. These are made from the gabbroic clays which derive from the Lizard Peninsula of Cornwall. They're pretty distinctive once you get your eye in. The key inclusion is feldspar, which has an off-white colour. It's particularly notable in the interior of the pots. The pots are fired in distinctive earthy colours, often light browns and grey browns, or orange reds for storage vessels. Vessels often have the remains of a black coating on the exterior, which Henrietta Quinnell has described as black paint. This has been applied after firing rather than being a slip. Gabbroic pottery moves eastwards in smallish quantities, certainly as far as Exeter, and is also found in North Devon. Henrietta Quinnell separated out the gabbroic pottery from Trethurgy Round near St Austell into three fabrics: well made, standard and coarse. There are potentially more subdivisions, but I think this is quite a useful division. Well-made fabric, wrong button, sorry. Well-made fabric continues the local late Iron Age tradition and is used mainly for small jars with high shoulders and fairly upright rims in the first and early second centuries. It's finely potted with a compact body, often thin-walled and sometimes burnished. Standard fabric is ubiquitous on Roman sites in Cornwall and indeed continues into the post-Roman period, becoming what is known as Scythian-style pottery in the 5th and 6th centuries. There's no break in the ceramic tradition in Cornwall as there is up country. It's rougher with a less dense body and more poorly finished surfaces. Coarse gabbroic fabrics used for storage jars. It's thickly potted and often oxidised and orange-brown. It's more heavily and largely gritted, and it's usually 10 to 15 millimetres thick. I use 10 millimetres as a rule of thumb to classify body sherds as storage jar. The second main source for gabbroic wares is this unpublished report by Pat Carlyon. This is an amazing resource which includes reproductions of illustrations from numerous excavations, some of which are otherwise unpublished. It covers the assemblages from the sites shown here with red dots, plus various other sites which have smaller and less varied collections. I was lucky enough to learn of the Carlyon report from Henrietta, who lent me a copy. Until recently, this report was quite difficult to access, but it's recently been scanned and added to the other publications of interest section on the SGRP website to make it accessible to all. Thank you very much to Edward Biddulph for facilitating this. These are illustrations from that Carlyon report. Some gabbroic forms follow regional courseware traditions, copying Dorset Black Burnished Ware 1, South Western Black Burnished Ware 1 and South Devon Ware, but there are local variations as well. Cordons are one feature of such vessels, not just on storage jars, but on smaller vessels, for example, small jars with beaded and rolled rims. Trethurgy is the main form series in use, supplemented by Carlyon groups. Just picking out a few slightly more unusual forms on these slides. We've got the Trethurgy Type 12, that's a distinctive early form, a jar or bowl with rolled rim and vertical pierced lugs. And another distinctive form is the Trethurgy Type 19, bowls with rolled rims and a cordon or cordons below the rim, sometimes associated with lids. Moving into the later Roman period, again we have forms which echo other southwestern courseware forms, but with a local twist. For example, we've got the Trethurgy Type 22 bowls, which are sometimes called Cornish flange bowls. These are a variation on the conical flange bowls commonly seen in Dorset Black Burnished 1 and have similar dating. The Cornish version is often more bowl-like with curving walls and sometimes a very fine flange compared to the Dorset Black Burnished vessels. I'm now going to tell you about three interesting vessels which I've recently encountered. Two are from a site Two are from a site at Nansledden, which is a new town site near Newquay, and the other is from a site near St Austell. The first vessel from Nansledden is from an assemblage of about 1,800 sherds, which I recently recorded. The assemblage contained a few more unusual vessels, including this highly developed rim. It's not a very good photo, sorry. Which bears a resemblance to New Forest Mortaria. There are no obvious grits, but as you can see, only the very upper part of the vessel survives, and this is it drawn up. There are no gabbroic body sherds within the assemblage which are internally gritted. Although pottery mortaria are occasionally found on Cornish sites, in general, stone mortaria seem to have been preferred locally. Fragments of stone mortaria are found on nearly every Roman Cornish site in Cornwall. From the same phase at Nansledden, we have fragments of several stone mortars, including an unusual one with external ribs seen here. These mortars are usually made from a variety of local granite known as elven, and they were presumably in use for long periods as they were not as susceptible to breaking as pottery mortaria. So the second more unusual vessel is again from Nansledden, and it's the second possible mortarium. This vessel has an external rim diameter of 40 centimetres, and due to its size and the form of the rim, I've interpreted it as a mortarium, a possible mortarium or a mortarium-like bowl. Again, we've only got the upper part of the rim, and it's not very obviously gritted, but it is somewhat gritty on the inside, but that might just be a feature of it being in this fairly coarse fabric. The only other gabbroic mortarium that I know of is from Tintagel, and that's as yet unpublished. The third vessel is from the Cornwall hotel site at St Austell, and it's not made in a gabbroic fabric, but it is presumably locally made. As you can see, it's a rather unusual form and is decorated with lines made using an impressed comb with square teeth. These extend onto the interior, which is why I've suggested that it's orientated this way up, slightly wider at the top, with the decorated part of the interior more visible. 3 joining sherds from this vessel were excavated by South West Archaeology and were brought to my attention by Imogen Wood. The sherds were recovered from a Roman dated context, which also produced a rotary quern and a piece of a Cornish stone mortar. Henrietta Quinnell has seen this object, and she rejected it as prehistoric. I've not seen anything like it before, but the shape is suggestive of a Tatzer type vessel, although obviously there's no sign of any burning on there, and it has a pre-firing perforation. I saw this illustration of a vessel associated with Roman cremation from Litlington in Cambridgeshire and wondered if it might possibly have been from something like this, but obviously I am grasping somewhat at straws here. So I brought this sherd along with me. It's just here at the front, and so if anyone would like to have a closer look at it, they'd be very welcome too. And I would welcome any suggestions as to what this vessel is.